The things of the Renaissance are everywhere in Italy: grand spaces and plazas, metal slate doors, looming archways, and of course all that ever present art in the pictures and galleries. But in one city, you will also get a taste of the Renaissance every time you enter a restaurant. Ferrara, in the northern region of Emilia-Romagna, was once home to the Eastern Court or House of East, which ruled the city from the 13th to the 18th centuries. The court on the bank of the river Po was one of the most formidable cultural powers, trying the Renaissance. Writers including Boiello, Aristo, and Torquato Tasso were employed by the court, and artists such as Bellini, Matinga, and Piero della Francesco worked from the Ace family in the dominating, most surrounded castle in the center of town. Their works have survived the centuries, but so have those of Cristoforo de' Messina, the courtmaster of Cremonese and Stewart. Mrs. Pugo was one of the two celebrity chiefs of the Renaissance, and is powers with multiple banquets to impress visiting heads of state and fill the bells of the East green and gold, led to him writing on of the world's earliest cookbooks. Systems Betsy composingly the Vivendi and appears to general Branscu's recipes and table laying was published in 1549, a year after it did in it, as well as sample dinner menus and drinks variants. He lists 300 recipes, and is thanks to Mississippi Go that nearly 5 centuries later the Ferrari are still eating the Mister's favorite meals. Because with every town in Italy has a signature dishes, Ferrara's are straight from the cookbook of the 16th century court. Yes, these dishes are real. First thing first, to enjoy Ferrara's best known dishes you don't want to visit in summer, and you will want an elasticated waistband because the signature food air in heavy. The city's best known dishes are pastico, effectively a pea filled with macaroni cheese, meat, ragu, and bechamel, salmon, dal, sugar, and centuries old kind of sugars and mash, and capsuleti di Sicca, pumpkin stuff pizza, each served as sweet treats. Pastico pay first in sweet as I meet by in sweet pastry with Sasma dough. Sugar is a kilo heavy salami that's soaked in water for several days and then boiled for 10 hours in softened into a spicy, spreadable meat that then several on the mashed potato. Meanwhile, the super sweet pumpkin pasta is usually salted with meat ragu on top. All date back to the Renaissance. In fact, Sama del Sogo was said to be the favorite dish of Lucrezia Borgia. Yes, that Lucrezia Borgia who came to Ferrara in 1502 when she married the Duke Alfonso d'Este. In fact, her famously long, blonde, curly locks are said to be the inspiration of another of Ferrara famous food, the copia, a sprawling four-cornered bread roll like two croissants blended together. It was supposedly created by Mrs. Pogo was a banquet in honor of Lucrezia. Sergio Morante. It is worked by 3 a.m. each morning to bake around 1,000 copies per day. Just is a devotion to the bread. I think it's one of the best breads in the world, he says proudly. His grandfather, Portillo, started the family bakery, Panco Pico, Fredonci, 19 years ago. Sergio's Sourdough started in a Otello's Original, which has survived the bakery booming in the Second World War, and Two Property Moves. All the rolls are formed by hand and then dog inmate using vintage mixing machines. Today, they have branched out into a suite of including Panpipetto, a cake also dating back to the Renaissance, made with chunks and almost an original feel, and covered in a dark chocolate. Pink Renaissance cocktail terrace. People have always come to Ferrara to eat, for sure. Other courts and because but Ferrara was particularly well known back then, says Dr. Federico Cannipiero, a historian at the University of Chicago specializing in the culture of the Italian Renaissance. It was especially refined, and food and banquet were a demonstration of power upon the other guests, some of whom will be ambassadors from other courts. Italian courts as a raft of fully profession, including the Scarborough, like Messrs. Bobo and Sophronius, the Boctiglieri and assistant sommelier, and the Trintignant, the carver who will put on a show for the entire table by carving meat or vegetables here the hat on a rainfall. Think of our restaurants cooking flare only with news and said their beef instead of bottles. They were trust people close to the duke, says Canipro. Actually, gentlewomen, nobles by birth, for my military, the Scrampo was responsible for organized banquet and on ordinary days, the household, the Trinket also had to be a trust person after all. He was right next to the master of the house with all those big news. Ferrara banquets were so famous, in fact, that people Ludovico also included a description of one his epic work, Ronaldo Fariso, she says, and no wonder she says that they very substituted with music, dance, theaters, and substituted made of sugar and ice. They start with a play or music or both, and then they prepare the table and forget our single figure tasting news. The drinkers called have well over 100 courses. Mac and cheese with a service with so much food to choose from, you can show that the dishes have made into modern princess cooking or the classes. At the modern car, the Parara restaurant guesses street on hip mustard colored cherries and cream banquet a heat-based country's whole dishes, and those used a molecular cuisine might find resistant gastronomy equally wonderful cuisine. You often find this with savory combination in the instant cuisine, which include says Chef Ella Reventue is pastichico is an interesting Miss Eden's meaty mac and cheese worked in a cookies with crust. You approach it meditation. How can this ever taste good? But somehow it was. The Swiss crust even seems to cut through the edges of the white leather and bitumen shows. They are symbols of the city parts of our DNA, says chef on the traditional dishes. I think Lucia Borgia will be happy as his mansion and wife, Barbara.